Hello, I'm Steve from Farm Advisor, and in this series of 3 brief videos, I want to demonstrate how we can develop AI assistants. First thing to do is to be very clear about what we want to achieve with the assistants, and in this case, it is to produce a business plan for a new drug for multiple sclerosis. So I need to identify what topics I need to include in the plan. And then I want to use AI tools to identify further prompts that I can then use to do further analysis with the plan. We're going to split the project into 3 phases: planning, research, and report. And in this first phase, planning, I want to build an AI assistant to establish what topics should be used in the plan, and then a further assistant to give me the prompts that I can use for the research phase. In this demonstration, I'm going to use a development platform that allows us to build a pipeline, which is the underlying logic of how our assistant should function. So the first step is to build a report of topics that will populate our business plan. These are the headings that we'll be investigating. And here we have a pipeline of how we want the AI assistant to flow. We have an input box which will take the question that we're asking. We'll have a context node which tells the language model how to behave, and a memory buffer which will store the conversation so we can ask follow-up questions later. This is all put into the language model, which in this case is GPT-4o, which will then process the information and produce an output, which will be the response to our initial query. So in essence, what we're doing is testing out this pipeline to see if it gives us the kind of response we want, and it appears to do that. I'm not going to look at the output in detail at this stage, but we can now go on and deploy this as an AI assistant. Here's how that pipeline will appear as an AI assistant, which I've deployed into a web page. We'll ask the same question, but it could be any question relating to business plan development, and see what we get out. And here we have the topics that we'll review and use in our business plan analysis. I noticed one thing here, that there was no reference to NICE, the agency that can approve these drugs for use by the NHS. So I'm going to add in a secondary query which asks it to add topics that relate to the NICE approval system in the UK, and we'll add those to the information above for our topic summary. And here we have a number of points regarding NICE which are added onto this previous group, and we can now download these comments and analyze them and determine whether it's what we want. So we've now completed the first part of our planning phase, which is to build a document of topics for our business plan. And we'll now move on to the second phase, which is to develop a series of prompts that we'll use to populate those topics in our research phase. In this pipeline, we're going to generate the prompts that we want to use in the research phase. And this is built upon the topics that were output from the last stage. And I've just picked 3 here: the market analysis topics, the marketing and sales topics, and NICE topics. We have the input, which is the question that the user can put in. We have 3 language models, and each channel has a set of instructions telling the model what we want. The models then produce their response, and we combine the outputs into a single blocks for review. I'm using 3 language models, or an independent one for each channel, because the language models have something called a context window, which is a finite amount of text they can take in at one time. And if you don't cut that down, then you'll miss certain information. So I'm going to run this application now, and we'll start to see the output of our prompts. And here is the output, which are a series of prompts for each of the categories we're interested in. This looks like it's running fine, so we'll now deploy this as a AI assistant. Here is the AI assistant as deployed in a web page so that it could be used by across the team. And we'll run the question that I just put in, and we'll start getting the prompt outputs. So here is the output from the 3 language models that address each of the 3 channels that I put in. And what we would do now is save this or copy it into a document and then review it, because it's important that we put in a human intervention stage into these steps, and we can then move on to the next stage of research. So we've now completed the first 2 components of the planning phase, and in the next video we'll be looking at how we proceed with the research phase. Thank you for watching this video. If you have any inquiries or would like to discuss how to build an assistant that you have in mind, please contact me at the email shown below, and we'll be delighted to talk to you.